Well, thank you. And I'd like to welcome everyone to council after such a beautiful weekend and then kind of back to early spring here tonight. But the 18th meeting of the 143rd Council of the Corporation of the City of St. Thomas is why we're here tonight. And I'll ask, are there any disclosures of interest? Seeing none, minutes, please.
I have a motion that the minutes of the meetings held on April the 11th, 2023 be confirmed. Moved by Councillor Herbert, seconded by Councillor Kohler.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Council will now resolve itself into committee of the whole to deal with the following business. First committee is strategic direction and development. First item relates to a community improvement plan project for the property at 571 to 573 Talbot Street. I have a motion that report PD 1423 relating to a community improvement project by Harrison Cole for 571 to 573 Talbot Street be received for information. And further, the council approve on loan and grant under the Heritage Facade and Building Improvement Program for application 2023-124 as submitted by Harrison Cole. And further, that council direct that a bylaw be prepared to enter into a heritage facade and building improvement loan agreement with Harrison Cole relating to a CIP project at 571 to 573 Talbot Street. Moved by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
Questions or comments on the report? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried.
Next item relates to the assumption of road widening near 122 to 124 Edward Street. I have a motion that report PD 1723 relating to an assumption of a road widening along Edward Street described as Part 3 on Plan 11R 11004 be received for information. And further, the council authorize the preparation of a bylaw to assume Part 3 on Plan 11R 11004 Edward Street within the City of St. Thomas. Moved by Councillor Wookey, seconded by Councillor Clark.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Your worship, that concludes the items under strategic direction and development on the agenda, unless there are any further items from the members. We'll now move into community engagement and services. At this time, there are no items unless there are any items from the members. Now, seeing none, your worship, we'll move into infrastructure and civic operations. First item relates to two-way conversion of John Street. I have a motion that report ES 2323 relating to the two-way conversion on John Street be received for information. And further, the council direct that a bylaw be prepared for its consideration to amend bylaw 45-89. Moved by Councillor McCauley, seconded by Councillor Herbert.
Questions or comments? Councillor Gibson.
Thank you, worship. I was talking to Rose Patrick. I actually sent an email in regards to the parking on the east side of the street. There tends to be a vehicle parking there quite close to the stop sign. I thought there was a no parking sign already there, but apparently there isn't. So I have to be standard corrected with Rose later. But I was wondering if City Works or somebody could put a no parking sign just at that area there so that it's more than just the allowable bylaw. Like we have a bylaw where there's a certain distance. I was just wondering if we can make it a little more longer because it is a very tight corner. If you already are sitting there at the stop sign to turn left or right coming off of John Street, and if you've got someone coming in on John Street, it is a very tight corner. Doesn't matter how big your vehicle is, it's still a quite small corner there. Thank you.
Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, worship. I thought this was a good idea when I saw it, but I'm wondering, after the trial period, is this something that we can maybe leave in place? Because it's 1950, they made it one way, but I just wonder, would that thought be there to have this permanently, or is that something we'd have to look at later on to see how well it went and vote on it again? Or it's just my question. I'd like to see it stay as a two-way, but
I see Mr. Lawrence coming to the podium to help us with whether this can be permanent or not.
Yeah, it's up to you, of course, as council, but and despite the Clark McDougall, I think we should go to permanent for now. But always remember, you can change it back. So if we go two-way and you don't like it, it can be changed back anytime very easily.
Thank you.
Sounds great. Further questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried.
Next item relates to a tender award for new winter maintenance equipment. I have a motion that ES 2423 relating to the tender award be received for information, and further the council accept the tender submitted by Premier Truck Group of London in the amount of $812,750 excluding HST for the purchase of the vehicles specified in their tender 2023-020 submission and as approved in the 2023 capital budget vehicle and equipment replacement. Moved by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor McCauley.
Questions or comments? Councillor Herbert?
Thank you, Worship. I notice in the background, it says that the purchase of 2 replacement plow trucks. Does that mean we're losing 2 trucks or are we gaining 2 trucks? Well, that's my question.
We'll ask Mr. Lawrence to help us with that one too.
Thanks. So it'd be the same number. So we're replacing 2. So we buy these 2 and then we sell the old ones off in an auction. Yeah,
you do sell them.
Yeah. Other questions or comments? All those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Your worship, unless the members have any further items under infrastructure and civic operations, we'll now move into corporate governance and administration. First item relates to surplus lands at 44004 Talbot Line. I have a motion that report ES 2623 relating to surplus lands at 4400 Talbot Line be received for information, and further council declare part 5 of reference plan 11R 4304 to be surplus to the city, and further the council direct administration to undertake administrative actions to sell part 5 of reference plan 11R 4034 to a sole source in accordance with the city's policy for the disposal of surplus lands. Moved by Councillor Wookey, seconded by Councillor McCauley.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Your worship, unless there are any further items from the members for this committee, council will now reconvene into regular session. I have a motion that the recommendations, directions, and actions of council and committee of the whole as recorded in the minutes of this date be confirmed, ratified, and adopted. Moved by Councillor Clark, seconded by Councillor Gibson.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
We now move into petitions and communications. No reports of committees this evening. First item relates to a proclamation and flag raising in support of Canadian Mental Health Week. I have a motion that Council of the City of St. Thomas proclaim May 1st to May 7th, 2023 as Canadian Mental Health Week in the City of St. Thomas, and further that the Canadian Mental Health Association flag be flown at City Hall from May 1st to 7th, 2023, and further that a flag raising ceremony be held on May 1st, 2023 at 10 a.m. Moved by Councillor Wookey, seconded by Councillor Herbert.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Carried.
Your worship, no further items of petition unless there are any items from the members. We'll now move into unfinished business of council. If there are any items from the members, and your worship seeing none, we'll now move into new business of council.
Any new business from council? Councillor Herbert.
Thank you, Worship. I thought I know it's very interesting to read all the updates on the construction on Talbot Street. I saw all those pipes in the middle of the road rusting. I think that's great for the public to understand. There is a reason why it's being done. And I'm not sure who's responsible for all those pictures, but kudos to them. So anyway, I just think it's great.
Well, thank you, Councillor Herbert. And I also appreciate the communication that's happening between the construction and certainly the rest of the city, but certainly the downtown merchants on this construction. It's not easy, but it's been very, very open and transparent on the communication side. So thank you. Further new business? I want to remind all about Earth Day on April 22nd, and there's a couple of very large neighborhood cleanups going on. One very large one at the Railway Museum, but many others themselves. This weekend was so beautiful. I was walking the Whistle Stop Trail and met two other citizens of St. Thomas who are walking along with their garbage bags with them and picking up stuff as they went. Had a good discussion with one of the people, and she said, you know, it's beautiful out here and I want to keep it that way, and that's why she does it while she's out with her dog. So it was just perfect. Councillor Baldwin-Sands?
Thank you very much for bringing that up again. And we asked that question last week, but could you tell the public again if they want to do something in their own neighborhood, or the goal of doing the 20 minutes of cleanup? If you could talk about where they could get supplies to do that. Yes,
please. Let's share all we can. On our website, there is a spot about neighborhood cleanups and Earth Day action, and how your group, your business can be involved. And if you just contact, go to the City of St. Thomas website and contact the mayor's office. Melissa will set it up, or Michelle in our environmental department will also, garbage bags, gloves, letting you know where to leave the bags of trash after you've done a bit of a cleanup. So we make sure we get around to get those too. We've got now a nice spring going on, and last weekend was a great example of it. We can really pull together and make our community a very, very beautiful place. So let's do it. And thank you, Councillor Baldwin-Sands. Other new business? Seeing none.
Your Worship, we now move into bylaws. I have a motion that leave be granted to bring in the bylaws, moved by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Wookey.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Are there any opposed? That's carried.
I have a motion by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Wookey, that the bylaws be now read a first time, referred to Council and Committee of the Whole, and read a second time.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
First bylaw, please.
First bylaw is a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council meeting held on the 17th day of April, 2023.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's carried. Next bylaw, please.
Second bylaw is a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute and affix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the city and Circular Materials Ontario. This relates to Blue Box Recycling Master Service Agreement.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's carried. Next bylaw, please.
The third bylaw is a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute and affix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the city and 1711664 Ontario Inc. This is a grant acknowledgement agreement under the Community Improvement Program for the property at 573 Talbot Street.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's carried. Next bylaw, please.
Fourth and final bylaw is a bylaw to authorize the mayor and clerk to execute and affix the seal of the corporation to a certain agreement between the city and 1711664 Ontario Inc. This relates to a Heritage Facade and Building Improvement Program loan agreement under the Community Improvement Program for the property at 573 Talbot Street.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's carried. Your Worship, I rise and report the successful passing of the 4 bylaws.
Great.
I have a motion by Councillor Baldwin-Sands, seconded by Councillor Wookey, that the report of Council and Committee of the Whole on the 4 bylaws be received and adopted. The same be read a third time, engrossed, signed by the mayor and clerk, sealed and numbered.
Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.
Next, we move into public notice. One notice this evening is being hereby provided that administration intends to introduce a report at the May 8th council meeting requesting approval of an unbudgeted capital expenditure relating to the construction of basketball courts at Burwell Park. No notices of motion this evening. There is a need to move into closed session. I have a motion that this meeting be closed to deal with a proposed or pending acquisition or disposition of land by the municipality, and a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on by or on behalf of the municipality. Moved by Councillor Herbert, seconded by Councillor Baldwin-Sands.
Before we vote, we'll tell the folks at home that that's the end of our open session tonight, and we'll be going into closed session. And when we come out of closed session, we'll simply be adjourning the meeting or passing anything that comes up in closed session. So thank you for joining us tonight. No, it's a short meeting, but you have some spare time now if you've been watching council. So please go take advantage of it. And to council, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried.